Alright, so what's going on, guys? My name's Chopper, and welcome back everybody to a brand new video on the channel. Today, what we're going over is the 10 things that noobs do in PUBG. Now, normally when I make a video about tips and that sort of thing, I tell you guys things that you should do in the game. However, today is going to be kind of the inverse of tips. I'm going to tell you things that you should not do. Regardless of skill level and regardless of what platform you play on, I'm sure you'll find this helpful. And if you do, all I could ask for you guys is to leave a like on the video. It would greatly help me out. I'd appreciate that a lot. And also, make sure that you are subscribed if you're new to the channel. And also, I'm doing one new thing. I'm going to start streaming on Twitch a lot more seriously. So if you guys haven't already followed my Twitch channel, link is down below in the description. Click on that, go drop me a follow. And I'm going to be live there, very, very soon. But ladies and gentlemen, with that out of the way, we're going to get into things that noobs tend to do in PUBG. Now, I think that honestly, we're all guilty of doing these things maybe every once in a while. But I want you to let me know how many of these you are consistently guilty of on a scale of 0 to 10. How newbie are you in PUBG? Maybe you're just starting out, maybe you're new to the game. But at the end of the day, this should help you to make yourself more aware if you are making these mistakes. And I promise you, if you start thinking about them and make sure that you don't do them, your gameplay will absolutely improve. I have no doubts about that. So anyways, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into the top 10 things that noobs tend to do in PUBG. So coming in today at our number 10 spot is something that I believe every single person is guilty of, at least to some extent or at one point or another. This is going to be either carrying too much ammo or too many meds in your bag. And the thing is, it's really easy to get caught up in doing this, especially I find myself doing it on accident sometimes when I'm running a 5.56 weapon like an M4. I tend to, if I'm getting a lot of kills, I tend to just take all the 5.56 ammo I can and don't even think about how much I have stocked up or how much I'm spending per kill. So what this inevitably ends up doing is leaving a lot less room for meds and something that I actually need, or vice versa. Sometimes I'll take like 12 or 11 first aid kits and then, plenty of boost, and then I barely have any ammo to work with. So I think everybody does this from time to time, but really not managing your inventory properly is a huge thing that newer players and new players tend to do at the game as well. And again, everybody does this from time to time, so it's not a bad thing when it happens every once in a while, but I just would try to not make a habit of doing it. Now, coming in at our number 9 spot is people not cooking grenades properly. Now, this is the thing that is really interesting to me because it's such like an easy basic mechanic of PUBG, but most players tend to not even worry about it. They'll just pull out a grenade and then chuck it and it blows up whatever it blows up. But I think cooking nades is honestly probably one of the most important things and tactical things you can do with this piece of equipment because they're really easy to dodge otherwise. You can hear them being like the pin being pulled, you can hear them being thrown from like a mile away, and if it hits anywhere near you, if it's not cooked, you'll pretty much always have time to run or at least get to some cover. However, if it's cooked, it might blow up before it's too late. So I would recommend that you practice doing this whenever you're trying to hit somebody in a building, when you're trying to push it, or maybe get somebody behind a rock or a tree. It's the best tool that you can use, and I recommend that you try to cook your grenades and time them properly instead of just chucking them, and you'll probably surprise yourself about how much more effective they are when you do cook them. Obviously, you don't want to play around with it for too long because you can end up nading yourself. I've definitely done that before, but you guys get the idea. Now, coming in at the number 8 spot is a really easy one to fix, but it's the easiest way to also identify a new player. Like, you see somebody doing this, like, yeah, this guy got the game yesterday, but this is going to be standing still or proning in the most awkward positions. Now, there's a lot of people that you can tell if they're a new player by the time that you shoot at them, or if they spot you in the middle of an open field, they will just freeze like a statue. They'll just be a deer in the headlights while they're shooting at you, or maybe if they're shooting somebody else and they see someone, they're just going to freeze up. And that doesn't mean they're not going to shoot, but they're not going to be actively moving or looking for cover or maneuvering or anything like that. This is the biggest mistake you can do as a new player. Even if you're not actively in a gunfight or you're just passively walking around or maneuvering into the zone, you should always be moving at least sort of in a circle, or even kind of even just bobbing your head. Looting will duck your head down. Just anything that will avoid you getting headshotted out in the open from maybe somebody that you don't see will save your life in countless scenarios. Like, you honestly underestimate the power of just a slight bit of movement that can throw off a Kar 98 or an M24 shot. So I would say that if a player's just standing still for absolutely no reason, that's the easiest way to tell if they're a new player, and I recommend that you don't do that if you are a new player. At least be moving to some degree, even if seemingly for no reason. It might help you and save your life. Same rule in most cases applies for proning. It makes you a super easy target in a lot of cases, and I think that's like the easiest way to tell if somebody is a little bit newer to the game. So I wouldn't recommend either of those. Make sure you're moving and make sure you don't prone unless you absolutely need to. Other than that, you should be just fine. Coming in at the number 7 spot is not very cleverly pushing buildings or doing it always, even when you know you clearly have an enemy up in the higher zone. So let's say that I'm up in a 2-story building or something. I've got a power position. People are going to have to come in towards me. Let's say they they make it up to my front door or in my property, they enter the building. This is the easiest way if somebody just runs right up the stairs and thinks they're just going to go all gung-ho and take you down. That's the easiest way to kill a new player if you watch that power position and you anticipate that play. A lot of new players don't really think about what the other player is thinking. I think that PUBG is kind of a lot like chess in a way, where it's like move and counter move, but a lot of people just tend to not think about that. But I believe if you increase your awareness on this and when you should and should not push buildings, it's going to help you out immensely. Now, coming in at the number 6 spot is an honest mistake that I can see a lot of people making. If they do happen to be newer to the game, they don't know a lot about it, maybe they're trying it out for the first time, they're not really sure how everything works, but this is going to be not switching out your armor when appropriate. Now, the rule of thumb used to be, I don't really know if I still follow this today, but if your vest is over half damaged, it's worth swapping to a fresh lower tier vest. So for instance, if I have a half damage level 2 vest and I see a fresh level 1, I might as well take that. I mean, that's pretty much the rule of thumb right now. I guess I recommend that you still follow it, but as far as helmets go, you should always take the higher tier helmet no matter the durability left on it or the health. So a lot of newer players will tend to drop their damage level 2 helmets for a fresh level 1. This is an easy mistake that can be avoided. You want to keep that higher tier helmet, even if it means it's a little bit damaged. It's still going to help out in the long run. But as I said, it's an easy mistake with an easy fix, so just be a little bit more conscientious about the armor that you're taking, and you should honestly see an improvement in your gameplay. Now, coming in at our number 5 spot is something that really only applies for squads and I guess duos. It doesn't really matter if you're a solo player, but let's just say that you're playing with all the lads, right? You got a 4-man squad and you're all rolling in a UAZ. You're driving down the road and you see another vehicle off to the side. The smart thing to do here would to send 2 or maybe just 1 to hop out and take that second vehicle, and you guys can still head to wherever your destination is. Now, a lot of squads all tend to take 1 car, but when you're putting all of your eggs in one basket, so to speak, it's really easy for you all to get wiped if one team pops out and just, you know, shreds right through your car. When you split vehicles, you significantly lower your chances of getting gunned while you're in your own car, just because there's actually more on the field. And also, not to mention, it really confuses enemies when there's multiple vehicles. They don't know which target they should shoot at. They don't know if they should spend all their bullets on one or split them. You know, they kind of get flustered and they don't shoot well. So your chances of getting shot in your car drops just massively. Of course, this isn't always possible. Sometimes there is only just one vehicle for you guys, and you got to do what you got to do. But if the option is there, I'd recommend to split as many times as possible. Now, coming in at the number 4 spot is people who play extremely close to the zone at like all times, or extremely close to the middle. This is bad for both perspectives, right? If you play on just the zone all the time, you follow in the blue, you're likely going to get gunned and you might make it to the top 10, but odds are you're not going to win if you don't take control of the situation. It's really easy just to lay down by the edge of the zone and for nobody to spot you and crawl into the next one, but you're likely not, number 1, not going to get a lot of kills. It won't make you better at the game, and also you may not get a whole lot of wins by doing this. And like inversely, if you play to the middle of the zone all the time, you always try to get center of the white zone. When you have all angles open towards you, it's really hard to hold down one specific spot. It's hard to predict where enemies are going to come from. You open yourself up to a lot of possibilities that you might not be able to handle as a newer player. So positioning in this way is one of the most important things you can think about, and I don't recommend playing either of these extreme cases. It's a common noob mistake, but it honestly has a really easy fix, so don't sweat it if you do that. But now, coming in at our number 3 spot is going to be chasing drops and not securing them. A lot of new players will get in a vehicle as soon as they see the plane go over, and wherever the drop is, regardless of the scenario, they're going to chase after that. Maybe they don't even have the correct setup to defend it. They don't, you know, it just, the odds are not in their favor, and they chase the drop anyways to go and get it. I mean, this is fun and all if you're just trying to go for that and you don't really care, but if you're trying to play seriously, you want to actually survive, I recommend you only chase drops when you feel like you are fully prepared to take it on. And even sometimes just the position of the drop is not good for where you are, right? You just physically should not go. Sometimes it's better to let somebody else pick it up and try to kill them as they're leaving and then take the gear back. You're going to end up with the same stuff no matter what, and you don't have to put yourself at that much of a risk. So really just evaluate if you should go and chase the drop or not, your risk to reward ratio, and that should help you to decide further from there. Now, coming in at our number 2 spot for today is manually looting every single single piece of equipment or anything that you find on the ground. And this is going to eat up so much of your time in PUBG that you could be spending either, you know, getting set up or positioning or killing enemies, something like that. But when people use either the F key or whatever it is on the other platforms like for Xbox and mobile and stuff, or you just tap to pick up every single individual item, that burns so much time. It's much easier just to tab loot. If you watch my gameplay, like, I feel like I'm a very fast looter. It's something that I've dedicated myself to getting good at, and that's probably one of the biggest things that separates noob players from good players, is how fast they can loot and pick things off of other people. So practice tab looting whatever you're on and try to get good at it. It's the easiest way to do it on PC, and I don't know really about the other platforms, but tab looting on PC is almost a must, and I would recommend that you try to do it if you don't do it otherwise. It's a really easy noob mistake like to make, I said as well, but it also does have an easy fix. Just practice it and try to get good at it. Now finally, coming in at our #1 spot today is people playing without headsets or without good game sound. This is actually a thing. I've talked to a lot of, you know, more casual PUBG players, as I want to get their insight on this. Some people don't play with a headset, and they just play with like low TV game sound, which is fatal because your eyes are just as important as your ears in PUBG. If you're not using all of your senses, you're putting yourself at a major disadvantage, especially compared to other players, and especially on PC and Xbox. I don't really know about mobile, but using your ears is such an important tool in this game, and if you're not doing that, then you're honestly doing it wrong. I strongly recommend to play with headphones that can give you good directional sound. If you don't have a headset that can do that, maybe if you have surround sound speakers, that might help a little bit. I don't really know what it's like to play PUBG with that, but I cannot stress strongly enough to play with headphones that can give you that directional sound, as it's just as important as seeing your game, honestly. I don't really know about the other platforms. You guys could probably let me know about that in the comment section, but that's going to be the 10 things that noob players do in PUBG, and pretty much easy mistakes on how to avoid them. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to leave a like on it. It helps me out a lot. Subscribe if you are brand new to this channel, and also before you go, make sure to follow my Twitch channel, as I will be streaming there a lot more in the near future. The link will be down below in the description. And other than that, guys, thank you so much for coming out again. I really hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll see you all on the next live stream or the next video. Take it easy, guys, and peace out.